air technology that we have. Anyway, this one comes with here, and here 2 people can use it. So then it kind of depends what you want to do with it. What they're recommending in the drone world is because until you get qualified in this, kids will get these and adults too. And it's like learning to drive. You just don't start. At least our senior citizens don't. You just don't start pushing buttons and so on. This is forward, this is back, this is up, this is down, and so on. Flying is a little bit different than this is a robot that we used before on the floor. So this thing only goes around, right? But if you take it off the floor and make it fly, it's going to do this, it's going to do this, it's going to do this, and do that. So most of us are used to forward and back and right and left, but most of us are not used to this, and this, and this, and this, right? And there's different terms for it in flight physics and so on. So for a pilot, for example, or a drone pilot, you have to be able to get that in there. Okay? That's your axis again that you don't have when it's just going in the floor. The minute you go 3-dimensional, you've got other axes. We've gone over X, Y, and Z axis and other technology. So anyway, let me think where we're at. What was your question? Oh, okay. It was on the goggles themselves. Okay, the next step in goggles, let me take this one. And it's here. When I say the next step, it doesn't mean something being researched to come. It's already here. Samsung's got one. I'll probably will buy in the next month or 2 as I learn this technology and so on. So, but anyway, they become more computerized. Okay, these are pretty static, right? You put a phone in. It doesn't do a whole lot, it's just a piece of cardboard. You can actually make these out of cardboard and so on, but they're actually becoming computerized. The one that's on the market for around $500 now, they've actually done research on the eyes. In other words, they're using laser technology there and mirrors, whereby they take this, what certain parts of your eye, your rods and your cones see color, rods see black and white. They're in different distributions around the eye. You have a macula in the middle. Okay, and a lot of old people have problems with that part. They get blind spots there, and so on. So they have researched it so that when your eye looks at it, it's going to be as close to real as possible. Okay? And then as you take your show you that in a minute. As you take your drone, I'm trying to think how to say this. Just a little complicated. This, by the way, for anybody starting, I'll drift a little bit here. So far, I found it's one of the best drones on the cheap market. Okay? And it comes very well done. I like the packaging of it, which is very important because, and the other one I just picked, well, let me bring that over. This comes in a nice box. This is a big one. If the packaging isn't good, or it doesn't come in a box, they're not going to last very long, right? Those are very delicate little devices, either the big ones or the little ones, that you're going to have somewhere to like bring it here, or take it back home, or take it outside. You can't do it in a bag. Okay? So I happen to light things that are packaged well. This is made by Cheerson company. Cheerson, if I want to write that down. And the model is CX-10WD-TX. They make other ones, but the thing I like about this is it's not only the package well, but it's easy to use. And your drone is in here. So very well protected. And this is your controller. Okay. As compared to this is a relatively big one. Okay. So on. So on the sides, when you get them, some of the things you want to look for, especially if you're a beginner or an amateur at this, okay, is this is takeoff. So you want it to take off. Okay. And you want it to land. This is takeoff, so it's setting on a flat surface, you hit this, it's going to start flying, go up. And then you want it to land. Okay, you definitely want it to land, because these things fly all over the place if you're not in control. And then you have to control it, to sit forward, back, up, down, and so on with this one. And the drone itself, only that big. It's called palm size. So you can imagine, when I say technology, nanotechnology, what we're talking about. Your battery's in there. Your 4 motors are in there. Your computer control is in there. All in that little part there. These are your propellers. And your Wi-Fi is in there. So this has got a Wi-Fi, just like we can get Wi-Fi all around this building. This has got a Wi-Fi built in that your phone will connect to. And then you can buy additions for them. These are the safety things, because if that thing, you lose control, which I tell you, you're going to lose control. Almost every time I set it up, I lose control. If you do, it's probably going to break a propeller. So you need extra propellers. They usually come with 1 or 2 extra, but you're going to go through 1 or 2 very quickly. And then you need to charge it. So this is going to be charged with your USB, and these are usually going to run on batteries. So again, you're into the world of batteries now too.
When they land,
Pardon?
when they land, try to land, that's the problem when they start.
Yeah. Well, that's why I say, these are all features in them. Some of them don't have a takeoff. Some of them don't have a land. You have to do it yourself with the controls and so on. So if you buy one, there's certain things, a beginner definitely is going to want to take off. You're going to want to land. You're going to want to hover, because this thing goes, flew. Okay? You want it to stay still. You want it. Yeah. And then the next part of it, Roy brought up yesterday when we were getting ready for this class. This is your camera. Okay. So it's a very powerful little camera, which we'll see in a little bit. The problem is that only goes this way. You only see in front, so you don't see around. So what you're going to see here and on those goggles is where you're going. Which is basically, if you've been in a cockpit in an airplane, is what the pilot sees. You can't see behind him. There's no rear view mirror. He don't see up. He just sees what's in front of him. So that's why these people who are flying drones have gone into this virtual reality and so on. So on this other one, and these still are in the cheap range. This camera here can be tipped. So now you can see forward like that one. But if you're a photographer, for example, we were in the parade, Veterans Day parade, setting up and somebody flew a drone over. Okay, If you want to take a picture of stuff below, you want to be able to point that camera down or straight down. Okay, so this one you can do it with your hand when you set it up to take off. Now, I was leading up to this here. The one made, I don't think the one made by Samsung does it. Theirs is, I think, $99, but the $500 one, I think it's Avegrant or something like that. If you look it up on the internet, Avegrant, I believe it is. And it's a startup company that's getting into this here. Not only can you see with it, but you can control. For example, you see this on and off there. When I hit off, that means I'm going to control it with the controller. Okay? If I leave it on, you can control it with your phone. There's GPS in your phone to tell it where it's at, and there's a gyroscope. I'm trying to think, most of you know what a gyroscope is? One of the first things we used years ago to stabilize a ship. So you can go on a ship and play tennis, for example. These gyroscopes stabilize it so it doesn't go up and down over the waves, right and left and so on. It stabilizes things. So there's a gyroscope in here. So as you take this here, like so, you can tip it and fly the drone, that little drone. Okay. So what they have done is to build that into the goggles. You can do the same thing with your head. I haven't seen it yet, but the way I understand it. So if you go up, the thing's going to roll. Go down, it's going to go down. Okay? And obviously, you're seeing what the camera there sees, and that's what you want to do. So when you're going to go down, the pilot's going to go into a dive, for example. He wants to see down, so the camera's going to go down, and you point. So you can control it with the movement of your head, which is basically the same thing that's in here. The reason I like this particular one is I like the software. It just looks nice to me. This here takes pictures, this takes movies, this tells how fast it's going to go. Again, if you're a beginner, you want these things to go slow. They're going to go fast, too fast. When they go, they go. So and then your gyroscope here, and this, as I said, it's control. If you want to control it with this, or if you want to control it with the phone. And then this here gives you your double issue. Okay. So let's see if we can do it. The one major problem that we're running into at this point is, well, actually, it's these new batteries. You've heard about the new batteries, the lithium batteries. One, they're very dangerous. So next week we're going to talk about safety and security. Samsung just took their new Note phone, millions of dollars of production research off the market because the batteries are exploding. When they explode, they can burn the house down or whatever. So their whole market for this year for that particular device has gone down to 2 because of the battery. So anyway, the batteries basically very small, and therefore they don't last too long. So you only get about 7 minutes of flight time out of that, and then you got to go plug it in. Most people 7 minutes. By the time you get it up in the air, 7 minutes is gone. So anyway, so it's better to have a couple. It would be nice to have an interchangeable battery. One of mine, that actually is a better one to learn this technology. I think I brought it a couple weeks ago. You can program it with the Arduino board and so on. It's about this big. That one, you can take the battery out and put another battery in. So almost everything that I have, or that most of us have, we have spare batteries. So these don't. They're just too small. You can't get it in. So the bottom line is it's better to have a couple of them. least two of them. So even if you're a photographer, you want to take a picture or have a little 10-second video on the news about the Christmas parade that we're going to be in, okay? So you better have a backup available. So in the range of technology, I think we've talked about that before. Always have one backup for everything. If you can afford it, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, have a third backup. So, I don't know if you remember, but one of the great debates of the presidents a few years ago, they were in Boston, the whole world watching, and the batteries went dead on the microphones. So now if you look at news announcers, almost anybody on TV, you'll see they have two microphones. One can be right and left, but the bottom line, if one goes out, the other one can do double duty. So you do need to have a backup. Okay. So, let's see, can everybody see this pretty good? Let's see what I can do with it. This is a Samsung phone, so now I go into the settings here. Oh, I forgot. Gotta turn it on. Very, very tiny. Okay. And you see the lights flashing. So then you gotta do in the Bluetooth world or the Wi-Fi world, whatever, what they call pairing. So now I go to Wi-Fi, and there it is. See it? That's the number I just gave you. CW10. And then the numbers on the end of it are the numbers for the device. So I'm going to connect to it.